Still going live on YouTube. Still connecting. Okay, here we are. Here we are. Okay. So, welcome back to Odys Talks, everyone. It's great to see everyone. Chris, Koray, Gábor. It's awesome to have you on the show. We're gonna have some fun here today, discuss some cool things, cool stuff, and just see wherever the discussion takes us. So,
ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Nice.
Wow, nice.
Special effects.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, I'll let you. Else, I mean, some of the audience might know you well, but some of the people not. So,
Okay.
whoever wants to go first.
I can go first. I guess I'm at the most left side, so it will be more symmetric. So, my name is Odys Talks. I'm Koray Gübür and owner of Odys Talks Digital. And lately, we also launched a semantic SEO course. Even if the gates are closed right now, we try to focus on the community, and we call it Odys Talks because we try to focus on every vertical of the search engine optimization in a scientific way, and in a provable way, or in a supported way by the, let's say, papers or the research papers or the case studies. And we usually focus on the innovation of the SEO for the SEOs around the globe, and also for the entrepreneurs around the globe as well. That's it.
Cool. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Shall I go? Okay.
Sure.
My name's Chris Panteli. I'm the co-founder of Linkifi. We're a done-for-you digital link building agency where we specialize in done-for-you HARO and media request link building. So we purely white hat links with manually pitching on behalf of the clients to secure the biggest links that you can get, to help with authority, EAT, and brand positioning for your business.
Cool. Sounds like a good business to do.
It's good.
Okay. Gábor, your turn.
Hello, my name is Gábor. I'm from Hungary. I'm currently traveling in South America. I'm in Colombia now. And I've been doing SEO and especially link building since like 15 years. And I also did some domain flipping. And I recently joined the Odys mentor program.
Perfect.
So that's why I was invited.
Yeah. I guess Gábor lives the life in Colombia. It's the best places to go. It's in my list already.
Koray, people on YouTube are saying that your audio is very low. So if you can approach the mic.
You have to invest in a mic, Koray. You have to invest in a microphone.
Yeah, I actually have a really good one, but the problem is that I don't have the cable for that. So maybe right now you hear me a little bit better, at least I hope.
Yep, absolutely. I got a new mic.
Mine, smarter.
Yours is the star of the show on your screen. Bright red.
Yeah. Well, I've been having a hard time with Bluetooth buds with the sound of my mic. In one of the editions, it was too loud. The next two times, it was too loud, and so we just decided to invest in a mic and solve this thing for the time being.
Yeah. So I hope I will be hearable because I'm really close to the microphone, and it's really also close to the camera. So you see me in a really detailed way. I guess it will be okay.
Yeah, well, you sound right now, definitely. So before we kick things off, I'll just remind everyone to like this video and ask questions in the live chat. You can also share it to anyone you want, anyone you think might benefit from watching this live stream, because we're going to dive into some really interesting, curious topics. Yeah, like the ones highlighted in the video title, in the live stream title, and as well other things that are going to in the conversation. So yeah, we've got these three amazing SEO and site building experts here. So I don't know. I think we should just get on with topical authority because it's hottest things right now in SEO, especially after Koray's course launch. I mean, it's all over the place, all over Twitter and Facebook, and other high-profile guys like Matt Diggity, Robert Nixel are in it. So yeah, could you just brief us in on, I mean, on the in simple terms, like what you cover in it and why people building sites and doing SEO can and definitely will benefit from it.
Okay, so first of all, anything that I show inside the course, they actually demonstrate nearly everything with the fundamentals from end to end. And in the course, we actually start with the content configuration, and the content configuration is something that I call for actually optimizing the content continuously by using micro semantics. When I say the micro semantics, I mean something like this. Imagine that actually you change the sentence orders or sentence structures. Or let's say you take always the first sentence after every heading, which is called subordinate text. And the most important sentence in the subordinate text is the first one, because in some of the research papers and also in our A/B tests, we have seen that if the first sentence in the subordinate text is not responsive enough, it will be skipped by the algorithms, or it will be harder to prove the website's quality. So inside the content configuration, we have certain type of rules. I gathered all of these rules in the name of algorithmic authorship. Most of the time we use humans, but lately we also started to use some AI systems there, because if you give certain amount of data with the same nature, AI will be able to actually take other types of prose text or prose type of text, and they will be able to structure it according to our rule set at the same time. Inside the course, we show actually what are real topical maps, because I mentioned the concept of topical map like 2 years ago, first time, together with the Matt Diggity. It was a killer interview with him, thanks to him mainly, because he strictly instructed me that keep everything simple. And since I keep everything simple in that interview, topical map was the only thing that I was able to mention. And there, after 2 years, finally I was able to show it's a little bit anatomy. For instance, everything inside the topical map, they are actually connected to the different segments. And I usually configure them like core section and author section. At the same time, I have quality nodes, which means that some of the articles or the web documents, they have to be more quality than the others to trigger a ranking. And to be able to make the course understandable, usable, and also proven, I continue to publish case studies for the last 2 years. We published more than 70 websites in more than 30 SEO case studies, and the total length of the case studies exceeded 500,000 words already. So basically inside the course, from creating topical maps, from writing articles according to them, from adjusting the internal links and implementing it for local SEO, e-commerce SEO, or affiliate marketing, these type of configurations are being demonstrated. At the same time, it is an always on course, which means that it will be updated. For instance, soon we will be changing the audio there, because we are enhancing the audio, we will be adding subtitles, we will be changing also some of the lectures as well. So basically, inside the course, you can see advanced and deep semantics. You can prepare yourself to the future search generative experience as well.
Wow. Sounds. Whew. Well, Jill Karen, who's been at the previous last week, By the way, hi Jill. she's watching right now, and she says that the course is really good, intense, but good. I guess it really sums up everything you just said.
To be honest, to be able to publish that course, I have recreated it 4 times at least, because whenever I create the course in my way, it was way much longer. It was like 70 hours or 80 hours, and I have still recordings. Then whenever I give this thing to the beta testers, they always tell that you are creating the course for yourself. So you should create it for the, let's say, a person who just got into SEO. And this was the most basic form that I was able to create. But still, there are some, let's say, students or the trainees that need further help. And for them too, we will be adding some, let's say, bridge lectures or more small sections too, I can tell.
You should release a director's cut extended edition, Koray.
Maybe one day, I hope.
They will feature deleted scenes and
Yeah.
interviews with the participants.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes as well. All right. There's a question from Youssef Hodaigu. I guess I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. So if I messed it up, I apologize. So he asks if you, Koray, could share one of your favorite affiliate websites that you believe has an optimal website structure and applies semantic SEO intelligently.
There are actually many, but at the same time, when it comes to the affiliate marketers, most of the time I see 2 main, let's say, fundamental problems with them. Let's say I have given them a kind of template, then they use the template that I have created for them, whether it is a content brief in terms of a template, whether it is an article template. They usually try to exploit it because all the affiliate marketers, not all, but majority of them, once they see that they actually rank the website in a really good way, they try to exploit it by adding more affiliate links or more monetization content all the time. So that's why sustainability in the affiliate marketers, it was a little bit harder, I can tell. But there are some good websites. They can even check actually the coolest. There are some, let's say, affiliate content there as well. And I can tell that whenever we rank a good affiliate website with some of the affiliate marketers, they start to bring, let's say, 5 other websites. One of the things that I can tell there is my methodology requires at least 3-4 people to work full time on the website to be able to dominate, because the methodology that I created, it is not for mainly the small businesses. I created it for actually dominating entire niche, which means that you will need always on full-time expert people on your team. And once they start to bring like 5, 6, 7 other websites, they start to stretch. And even if they have a good methodology and good grasping, then again, since they are stretching, they're able to increase the traffic for 3 of them, and they are decreasing for others. But in the case studies, you can actually see some of these websites already, or you can check them basically as well. I will be publishing a new case study soon. One of them is on expired domain. When I give that name, they can check it as well. It is in the fitness industry and exercise and the health, so it will be easier for them to understand because it's pretty structured already.
Cool. Thank you for that. Did you guys are you guys applying semantic SEO to your work as well? And how deep, let's say? Chris, Gábor, that's a question for you.
We've got a handful of sites that our agency's the main focus now. But what we're seeing as well is with the sorts of links that we build, is the authority is extending beyond that of just the on-page SEO and the topical maps. It needs the authoritative links as well, so that the whole like authority domination of that site, of the experts representing that site, that it's all being like algorithmically proven to Google as well from these authoritative links. So I think that is the sprinkles on top of Koray's recipe. It's
Cherry at the top.
It's something else. The cherry on top, yeah. And that's where we're seeing the biggest bounce in client sites, client traffic bounces is when they have good on-page SEO, good topical authority in the content they're producing, but they just don't have any big links. And that's when we see the biggest push. So if we build a basket of 5 or 10 massive links, we just had a client recently who had a site who had been dead for I think the past 12 months. Bounce with I think 4 links over the space of about a month and a half. So I think you can really ping that, really ping to Google.
Cool.
Yeah, so my experience with this is not really big, but in my job we are building some niche sites for ourselves, and I had an idea like 6 months ago to start. I found a good niche like 6 months ago, and we started building a new site, and it's only on one topic. Sorry. And just yesterday I was checking the rankings, and this was like a completely new site. It has some links but not too many, and I realized that like already for 5 of the keywords we are already number 1. So that was really like also surprising for me. And I think this was thanks to low competition, but also this topical authority, because we are only building it in one topic and nothing else.
Yeah, so like Matt Diggity says, well, you just have to cover the top, all the different angles, and make sure you just nail it. Yeah, so this is
but
this
it's not
just
even,
rings
it's
the
just
strategy.
only like how many? It has like 20 articles. So we just really getting started with that.
Cool. Godspeed.
Yeah.
All right. Another question from Ilana Gerstein. What's the best? Oh, there are actually 3 questions in one message. All right, let's go with the first one. So I guess that's for all 3 of you. What's the best way to approach a very large website? Correct network to rank better? That's the second question. I just don't know. Okay, I'll just read all 3 of them because I don't know if they're strictly connected or can be answered separately, so it's up to you to decide. Once again, what's the best way to approach a very large website? How to correct network to rank better? Would you go back and fix all the pages based on depth or responsiveness and correct topical?
So I can start maybe for this. If the website is extremely large, usually people see it as a kind of, let's say, disadvantage, but it can be also an advantage too, according to the topic of the website. First of all, even if you are able to optimize the specific, let's say, web page collection with 1%, it will be actually multiplied with maybe 1 million or maybe 1.5 million other pages. If you are able to increase your quality only 1% per web page, since it will be multiplied site-wide, you are able to actually create really good amount of, let's say, reactions from the search engine on that end. Another thing is that most of the time, really large websites, it is another relevant situation, a concept again from like topical authority, which is connected. It is cost of retrieval. If your website is too big, but the value is too small, it means that your website is too costly to rank or to crawl, which means that ranking signals per web page, it has been diluted. It means that page rank per web page, it has been diluted. That's why, because of that, usually I try to have actually always less pages with more value. And to be able to do that in a scalable way or in a really good way, you will need programmatic SEO. I have actually 3 examples for that. Soon I will be putting into the case studies. One of them is actually, without giving name for one of them, one pilot from Mauritius, he actually visited me in Istanbul. He also brought lots of gifts. because I answered an email just 1 year ago. Because usually I have lately actually I always have more than 200 emails in my inbox. That's why, to protect my health, I am not answering anymore. But in the before it was like 30, 40, so I was answering. And in that situation, he actually had a really large website for, let's say, mathematical calculations. This is not entirely true. I am not just giving entire information for protecting him, because in programmatic SQL things are more direct. So let's say we have mathematical things on the website, and he just wanted some suggestions. I have given him 10 actionable suggestions, and he increased the traffic over actually 25,000 clicks a day by just implementing them. And at the same time, he visited me in Istanbul. We got really good, let's say, memoirs together. I will be publishing the pictures too. But the thing here is that one of the changes that I have suggested to him, for instance, just try to add your answers earlier. Take the most important sentence and give it to the top, always. Do not try to stall the people on the page, for instance. He just changed a single sentence location, and Google entirely recrawled entire website from zero. So even if you change a single sentence or a single sentence location, since you are changing it 25,000 times, it creates a really good feedback from that end. One more thing is the internal links. So when it comes to the programmatic really large websites, search engines don't expect you to use natural anchor texts that much. It's not possible after a point. So that's why you can actually use your internal links to affect your crawl stats or crawl prioritizations. If you're able to communicate with the search engine with your internal links and with these type of simple answer locations or let's say placing, it will be really good for you. Right now, we also have, for instance, a website. It is making money with the ads mainly per view. For that website too, for instance, over 2 years, we just tried to decrease the amount of non-index pages or the pages that provide any value. From 4 million, we came to do 1.2 millions. It's not that easy since the website is big, but again, we brought the website completely back. So you can try to have this type of, let's say, fundamental principles and implementations. One more thing is that if you test things in these really large websites, choose the highest impression pages, because if you test something with a small value page, search engine might not even recognize it. Try to go with the highest important pages so that you can communicate with the search engine. These are my quick notes.
Yeah, one thing I can say for sure is that after the end of this live stream, you guys listening and watching just rewind it to the moment Koray started talking and re-listen to it once again, because there's a lot of actionable, valuable stuff. All right. Anyone else? Chris, Gábor wants to answer questions?
I'll ask Koray one thing about the moving a sentence, let's say, across 25,000 pages on a website. Would you do that? Is that something you would do manually or programmatically then? How would they approach it? Yeah.
Programmatically. The thing is that we are using actually AI before even 2 years. For instance, most of these websites already did that, but sometimes, for instance, I will tell one of them, you can check, there is a library called Jinja. Imagine that you have a JSON, let's call it knowledge base, you are able to verbalize it. This was something that I told in the Saigon. And I have given 7 steps in my Saigon speech, and I have repeated in Zakopane as well. That 7th step will always repeat, especially with the AI and the programmatic SEO. If you have a knowledge base, the next thing is just actually verbalizing it. And once you verbalize it, then you will be distributing your sentences, declarations, statements, comparisons, or purchase links, buttons, or let's say affiliate links, etc. But the first step is always having a knowledge base, then the second step is always verbalizing it. And since we are doing it in a programmatic way, we just change a single, let's say, placeholder from here to here. We run the script again, it just recreates everything from zero. We tried it for large classes. When I say class, I mean the class of the entity type. Let's say diet types, food types. Do you know there are actually more than 4,000 apple types? So imagine that you just create a website for just Apple the fruit, just for fun. It's because it's like creating these websites now take actually just a few hours. And you can create even 100 different websites just for the Apple the fruit. Then you can actually programmatically create all of them and you can check the results. That's why in Saigon 2 I said black is the new white, and maybe the first time Google engineers are facing engineer SEOs. Right now we are able to also code, and with AI everyone is coded right now. So I believe things are turning back, and entry cost for SEO is higher, but also the engineers in Google, they have a really hard job right now because we are also engineers right now too, so it's even harder for them.
Okay, let's move on to the next topic, because it seems if we don't stop, keep going for the rest of the stream, and then after ending the stream, we'll just keep talking offline, just between the four of us. All right, Gábor, or do I pronounce your name correctly?
Yeah, it's Gábor.
Gábor. Okay, so all right. So the emphasis on the first syllable. Okay. So you are one of the people who had joined the Odys mentorship program, and so you're basically one of the mentors providing private mentorship to Odys members, finding the domain that will suit their particular needs, whether it's for like a lead generation site, for a particular niche, or whether they want to build like a full-scale brand on it, right? How does your background fit into this new, let's say, beginning?
Yeah, so I think why they chose me over others also in Odys is because first I had experience with buying and selling domain names. In my first year when I started after my university, I had like more than 400 domains, mostly Hungarians, but like this is funny, one time I was in Sweden and I saw that one registrar had like a super low prices, had like a discount for a year. So I decided I will buy Swedish domains. So I actually looking, and I don't speak Swedish, so I was looking up the dictionary and I was trying to find available names in Swedish. So by the end I only sold like 2 domains. I bought like 70 domains in Swedish.
Wow.
I sold 2, but it was so cheap that it was still worth it. And then I started my link building agency, and then I'm still, and I also have a job like a full-time SEO and link building. So and I also bought expired domains for myself. I built out some projects. I was selling links from my own expired domains. So one time I had like a network of 50 expired domains, and we were selling links from those. And so like I have a lot of experience with these things, so I can definitely use it in Odys.
Yeah. So it fits right in.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. And what before the heading off into the stream, like several days ago, you mentioned that you had particular experience with guest posting. So how does, in your perspective, in your own experience, how does guest posting fit into the grand SEO picture, and what particular advantages it provides to the sites that you're working on, companies that you're building up, promoting via search engine optimization, right? I mean, from your own particular experience and perspective.
Yes, so guest posting is probably the most popular link building method nowadays, and it's been around for a long time now, like at least 10 years. And there were these guest posting networks for free and paid, and then Google was cracking down on guest posting. So actually now, like, the free guest posting is almost dead now. So, and actually it's not really guest posting anymore, they just call it guest posting because when you pay for the links, they don't put you in an outer box. They don't put your link in an outer box. They just publish the guest post as an editorial, and then they just put a link there. And sometimes they say it's sponsored, so, and sometimes they say they don't say it's sponsored, so they hide it. Most sites actually, and most are do follow, but on some sites you can only get no follow links. But like guest posting is definitely one of the most important, one of the most used methods, but it's not so easy like 10 years ago or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to pay for most sites to put a guest post, but it's really like in our company, that's the thing we use the most. So
Yeah,
we still
I
use
see.
some VPN links, but they are really losing their effectiveness. But with guest posting, you don't really have like PBN links are more dangerous, you can say.
Mhm.
So the other important thing is that a guest posting site or publisher should have a lot of traffic. So if it's below 1,000 visitors per month, that's not good. So the best way is to have at least 5,000 per month. And also you should know about guest posting farms, which almost work like PBNs. So they publish guest posts in all topics, all kinds of topics. And they usually have low traffic. So the best way to avoid them is to select sites which have at least 5,000 visitors per month, and then you will be fine.
It's all almost paid as well, isn't it, Gábor? It changed like that. We ran a guest posting campaign for our finance site about 3 years ago, and we got about 55 guest posts for free. Nobody asked for money. We ran the same campaign again 3 years later. We didn't build one free link. Everybody wanted paid just 3 years later.
Yeah. Like you can still do it for free, but you have to have authority as an author. So you have to have a good blog, you have to have some experience, and then also it's very strict. The guidelines for free guest posts are very strict. So you can still do it, but it's not really easy. I would say it's just easier to pay nowadays.
Yeah, as well. Speak of the links, huh, Chris? Yeah. Okay. back to you. There are a couple more questions in the YouTube chat, so I'm gonna follow up on those. All right. So Grandeur is saying, uh, what are your stands in generating content using pros and cons, please? So yeah, shoot, guys.
I think you've got to start dabbling. Even if you're not a whiz like Koray on the topical maps and program maps or SEO, everyone else is using it. We've got to look at how you can incorporate it into your processes.
Okay. So in my situation, so the thing is that first of all, even the search engine right now, they create actual AI content by using our own original content. So in this case, actually, we should stop scaring of that. But there are 3-4 fundamental things here that will be changing. First of all, I published a really good research like 15 months ago. It was actually explaining today, and I have mentioned some concepts there like author identity, expression identity, or author vectors. The main problem right now is that even if I know nothing about cancer, I can create better content for cancer compared to a real doctor. But it doesn't make me a doctor anymore. So it means that, unfortunately, quality content, really quality content, I mean, doesn't always mean that the website or the person behind the website is really expert anymore. And because of that, in the Google Quality Rater guidelines, they have added a section. And in that section, they actually mention the importance of human effort. And they tell that if we see that there is human effort inside the content, they tell that actually that specific content will be perceived as better. But the real dilemma here is that what will happen if the human effort makes the content less better or less good, or if it harms the content? So according to the Google right now, originality or the human connection or the human, let's say, affection in the content is even more important than the real quality. So they started to change the definition of the quality on that end a little bit. Another problem is that, again, I am returning to that Saigon speech because I have done it so that it can be a fundamental, let's say, announcement or the manifest for the future. Because there too, I mentioned that people will need to create or train or fine-tune their own language models. Because if we all here, 4 people for instance, if we target the same query with the same large language model with similar prompts, we will be turning into the, let's say, we will be classified together by the search engine. And if we get other 400 competitors on the web, if they use the same large language model with the similar prompts, it means that there is a loss of imitation and loss of unvaluable or really non-valuable websites. So that's why in the future, I also told this actually in my insights for 2023, I told that page rank, brand signals, and consistency for ranking or external references, these things will increase their value. When it comes to the content production side, you will need to really add really unique information, which requires you to be really an expert on the topic, or you will need to be able to ask really good questions there. Another thing is that my suggestion to everyone is try to understand how to fine-tune or create a kind of LLM. It might be really expensive. Let's stay in the fine-tune section. No one here has to spend, let's say, $60 million for an LLM. But if you just fine-tune it, it might be really cheap. And in this case, you can actually start to create your own specific type of prompts or the functions. For instance, in one of my experiments, we realized that the prompt that we were using, it was already 4,000 words, and the output was really long too. So in this case, we started to realize that actually we should use some certain type of cornerstone words. For instance, if we come to the last paragraph, we were using the overall, the word overall, I mean, because it was a signal for us that, okay, the next text will be for another web page, because we needed to chunk the output. But the main problem is that you can't finish every article with a paragraph that starts always with the same word, because you are signaling that you are a computer there that use certain type of automations. So in the future, we will be trying to play these type of games. So AI is safe, please use it, but always remember that you will need to signal that you are a, let's say, a brand, a real expert. Because if you write the best content for cancer, if I come to your website, but if I can't get the treatment, there is no meaning for ranking there as well. That's why from search engine side, imagine that they always try to rank more websites for more purpose. I wouldn't like to actually visit 2 different websites for learning cancer and also getting treatment. If you're able to provide both of them with expert doctors and also the, let's say, authors and medical authors, let's say, it's very much better. So you can use it, but you will need to fine tune it, and you will need to always be, let's say, less similar and to the others, because if you're always similar to the others, all these documents will be clustered together. There will be one representative. Whenever the cluster is bigger, that representative source will be ranking higher too, which is another topic, but it's the situation usually with the bad application. Sorry for the
Go on if you.
No.
I have
All right.
So yeah, I like AI, and I like the possibilities, mostly for content writing. And like in this age, what matters even more are links, because exactly what you were saying, that the content will be more and more similar, because the same or similar AI is gonna write it. And now everybody jumped into the AI bandwagon, and they are producing a lot more content than before. In general, everybody. So what will really make the difference are links. So one really interesting and very, very rapid form of the site development is buying an age domain and then using AI to write content. So then you can build out a site and build out rankings faster than ever before with this strategy.
Yep.
That's what we're seeing as well. When you see 2 sites with the same, almost the same AI produced content, if one site has maybe not cancer, or if we stay out of YMYL, but let's say you take a pet site, and one site is just mass produced AI with a faceless AI imaged profile, and the other site is leveraging the expertise of, let's say, a real vet. They either are a real, or they've onboarded onto their site to produce some content for them, and then they build powerful links as well, digital PR links to that site as well. Then this is what's going to instantly signal the differentiation to Google, and it's relatively easy to do as well, on top of the AI production.
Yeah. Speaking of links, Chris, how did you end up dealing with HARO links?
Yeah, well, how did I start, or how do we do it?
I mean, whatever you want to highlight.
Well, no, this is just to go back to what Koray was saying and what Gábor just said as well. Then it's the era of authority, when anybody can produce mass amounts of content with a click of a button, and now everybody is an engineer, like Koray said. Especially, we've been dabbling with the fine tuning of the AI language models as well, when we saw great results with that. But in order to differentiate yourself, it's got to be big, powerful links, and we're seeing it track through as well from journalistic outreach. When we see you have to have visibility of authorship. The journalists, when we outreach on behalf of a client, the journalist wants to see a real LinkedIn profile. They want to see history. They want to see connections. They want to see that profile is visible on the website. They want to see an about page. This is all tracking through from the journalist side. So if the journalists are doing that, then Google has to be doing that algorithmically at least, and then when they're doing the visual quality assessments as well, they're going to be doing that as well. So we're really proud of the links that we build, and we know we're building the good links at a good time, because this is a time where if you haven't got them, you need them, and your competitors are going to have them. So yeah, it's a time of authority.
All right, guys, we're slowly but very confidently running out of time. So let's just do our usual exercise of taking a look at an Odys domain. I shared it with you previously. If you guys listening and watching aren't sure what I'm talking about, just check out this video's title. So today we're going to look at velodirt.com. I'm gonna share it on your screens in a moment, and we'll just go through some of the most principal stats. Let's say, yeah. So it's a 13-year-old domain with a DR26, has about 150 referring domains. Well, obviously .com domain, and it's an English language domain. It formerly hosted a site, Dirt Bikers, based out of Portland. And let's see, where is it? I'm still getting used to the new platform. We just released it it's so different from what we had previously. It's a lot smoother, it's a lot prettier, but I'm still getting used to it. All right, so our recommendation for growing this domain is to create a biker site completely dirt biking, and monetizing it through sponsored content and affiliate marketing. Well, yeah, this is a very basic recommendation that hopefully helps to come up with new ideas to whoever owns it. So what are your ideas about this domain, guys? What if you owned it? Is it whoever wants to go first?
I would stay in the adventure bike niche, based on the most authoritative links that the site already has. Gear Patrol, Gear Junkie, bikepacking.com, The Adventurist. So it's got a handful of decent links, and they're all to do with sort of outdoor adventure gear, backpacking, outdoor sort of thing. So I would stay in that niche 100%. Yeah, and then dive into the pages and see which one to hone in on.
In my situation,
Gabor? Yeah, Koray, sorry.
as always, I will actually create a topical map, probably 5-6 different topical maps I will be creating for that website for every different segment, and I never change the URLs so that I can use the historical data of the previous one. So I would need to create actually a topical map for an existing website there, which requires, it's a more delicate process. Then I will design a semantic content network, as I explained inside my course, which means that I will actually create lots of good amount of content briefs, and we will be writing these things, and we will be changing the internal links. I would also not touch the design of the website, overall URL structure, and usually I don't like Google to think that ownership of the website has changed. So I wouldn't touch, go to the registrations, IP addresses, or the host of the website as much as possible. If it is a situation, I wouldn't make a change for a long time too, because when it comes to me, because of the medic update, I lost the PBN. So since that day, actually, I'm a bit paranoid about engineers. So that's why I always play safe when it comes to these type of things. So that's why I would wait even 3 months before starting to make changes, but it doesn't mean that I am just being lazy, because I can create entire content network in the Google Drives, then I start to upload them, but one day I will publish them. Another problem is that the next core update, I would like to know when the next core update is by checking it, so that I can put some buffer zone. If it is too close, I wouldn't change nothing. If the core update has passed, then I will start to prepare the website for the next one by doing some gradual changes. at least strategically, I can tell. For links size too, people know that I am not against links. In Saigon speech too, you have me. If you want to sell the links, I am okay with that. I would be happy to buy them. I'm not like a Google puppet, so I'm happy to tell these things. So for link size too, we will use lots of things there as well.
Cool. Gábor?
Yes. So I was actually getting into bikepacking before myself. So I did a lot of research. So bikepacking is when you go, it's like backpacking with a bike. So you have to put all your stuff on your bike, which you would normally put in your backpack. So you have to buy a lot of quite expensive like packs for your bike. So the products are quite expensive. So obviously, like Amazon affiliate site can be very good for this one. And also the bikes themselves are very can be very expensive. So you can get a lot of commission for those. And like this was just a Portland site, but I would make it at least a national site or maybe even an international, because I mean international because it had a location, it had these trips and these trip reviews before, but you can do much more with those. Like you can review like bikepacking routes, biking routes, like almost all over the world if you want. And also there are affiliate programs for these, like I mean Viator, if you heard about that. With and it pays about 10%, I think. So you can list many tours, organized bikepacking tours. Probably you can find some.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
yeah. Like a plan, definitely. So here you go, guys. You have 3 strategies. Even if you like, I don't know, maybe you contemplating on getting in similar niche. Here you go. You have 3 different perspectives. All of them are and valuable. So yeah, just make sure to apply them to your to whatever you do with that. And if you wanna reach out to Gábor, you can just reach out to us via Odys Global and ask the account manager to get you in touch with Gábor for further consultation. And I'm sure he'll be glad to thoughts on whatever you have in mind. That's speaking of the domain. By the way, Chris, Koray, Gábor, what do you think of this domain in particular? I mean, do you actually like it in terms of the backlink profile history, naming, everything? Just how does it sound to you in particular?
I like the name. I like the backlink profile in terms of the higher end links. Nothing screams out at me that would concern me. Yeah, and I think that it's following through. It's following through as well in terms of the topical relevancy of the links to the domain name. I'd probably have to dive into Wayback Machine as well. But yeah, I like it.
I would actually use that website because if you use such a website, you will be gaining at least 7-8 months because the website already has proven itself or it has been tested by many updates. The only thing that you need to do there is actually fixing existing problems. You can imagine that it's like something website renovation, like home renovation. So you can make it work for way much more money and sell it even under a year in a proper way.
Cool.
don't like that much is that it's a bit too local because it was only in Portland. But as if you buy the domain and you start to build out the website, that's not really a problem because you start with content connected to Portland, and then you can go to other cities, other states, and you can write about those. And then you can build that whole national library and national website around this because it's a good domain, it's a strong domain.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that, guys. Couple more question in our chat. Okay. So the question number one is: could it be said microsemantic optimizations are the aggregation of marginal gains compounded in order to reduce and train the LLMs to give you a highest mark versus competitors? Oof.
So whoever has written that, I guess the person has read case studies from me because he's using the concept from the case studies. It's not a question actually, it's a declaration, it's true. Basically he means that actually by changing small things in sentences or in different places of the content, but by doing it actually in every page, and imagine that you are aggregating all these small gains from entire website, and then you also do this in an automated way with a language model. Then you actually are being tested and tested and tested further. Then you are actually creating let's say, dominating website. Also, maybe I can tell, I even thought that I can take a patent for this design like 2 years ago, but then I learned that it requires lots of millions of dollars, not for taking, but protecting it. Because if you don't have a patent lawyer, it doesn't matter. But in the future, it will be like, you will be creating a kind of website engine. Most probably, it will be creating these websites for you, and you will be just optimizing things at the back end so that the output can change. This type of something will be happening eventually, but it's not something dangerous. It's just an inevitable engineering and SEO change together. I can tell. So whoever has written it, he is right.
It was Luis Salazar Jurado.
Yeah,
So
I know he's a good SEO. I can definitely tell.
thank you for the question. And one last question before the time runs out. And once again, how about authorships that represent the whole organization, like published by Healthline team instead of a single individual?
Yes, I am also using organization rather than the individuals. First of all, organizations are easier to introduce as an entity. Second of all, I don't want my authors to start to appear in the competitor because sometimes they change sides. And I have even seen one author that I have trained, he became a surfer in Jamaica. So they just leave the projects or they stop being active. So that's why I go with the organization, or I define an organization department like editorial team. Then I put other person type of entities under that superior entity, which is the team section. So you can create these type of pages. Organization can be the author, and it can be more authoritative at the same time than an individual.
Any other perspective, guys?
Yeah, if for the high end PR link building, we would need at least one human representative of the site, but that doesn't need to be. You can still have a single entity on the authorship of the content as long as the individual is somewhere visible on the site. Maybe they could be a contributing editor, or just on the about page, even as just somebody with a credible link to the site. Even if it was just a content reviewer. Once you've got that, then that tracks through to a real person, because when you're doing HARO especially, the journalists want to speak to an individual, not an organization, but it's very, very easy to work around. So,
Gábor?
I don't have anything to add here.
All right, it's cool. Guys, it's time to wrap up. I have to thank everyone for joining. Koray, Chris and Gábor, thank you very much for sharing your unique perspectives, your insights on a number of things. Thank you for answering questions. And guys who were asking questions, thank you for these questions. I mean, I think it's the most questions we've had since we started the live stream, so that's really cool. So yeah, remember to like this video, share it to your social media pages, friends, wherever you want, because as you can see, there's been a lot going on, and domains that collect virtual dust, let's say, that you haven't been using, but that are like clean, have there's no history of any other kinds of abuse. You can reach out to us via sell.odys.global and let our team perform due diligence on them, and you can sell them for a profit if they fit our criteria. And yeah, if you're looking for a great domain to kickstart your website, we've got plenty of domains that aged well. So yeah, this is it for today. Everyone, and we'll see you next time, next Wednesday. We're going to be joined by Kevin Mang, Huang, and Sarah Santos. So yeah, just stay tuned.